Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first video of the channel. I hope you guys are well. I'll be talking about a lot of anime. I'll be talking about movies and gaming as well, reviews, news, and just anything interesting on some things as well, as I believe there's not enough out there for anime especially, so we'll be jumping through things like that. The first video will be on the Rings of Power, unfortunately. I do have to make a video about this just to absolutely rip on them for how horrible it is. I just watched the first episode and I literally had to force myself to finish watching it. That's just how bad it was. They disrespect the lore, they disrespect Tolkien, and for me, growing up, reading the books, watching the movies from the start, like religiously at least, watch extended editions once a year, and it's usually like a Boxing Day thing straight after Christmas. Me and my brother, we always watch it, and it's like a tradition for us, it brings us together, and then they go and do this. I mean, none of us asked for the show, no one asked for Amazon either, but I mean, Netflix wouldn't do much better. It is what it is, and I hope they get what they get. I hope they lose a lot of money on it. The thing that I think the best thing they can do is literally just scratch this whole first season, make it its own thing, start from scratch next season, fire all the directors, get a new cast, and start from scratch next season. That's literally what I think they should do if they want to save face, if they want to, not lose a ton of money, which they're already going to, because this first season, the first episode, Galadriel, who is going to be the main character in the whole series, is not at all like Lady Galadriel at all. She's still 5,000 years old, and she acts like she's just a 19-year-old girl who makes stupid decisions, acts like she doesn't have a brain, and just constantly has the same tone. The tone of her voice is the exact damn same constantly. They say she's the commander of the Northern Army. She never was. And this is just the beginning of it, right? This is just the first damn episode, and there's already so many things. I mean, she jumps off a ship in the middle of the sea where there's no land in sight. I hope she's a good swimmer, because apparently she is. And then gets found randomly by a ship. And yeah, I don't want to do too many spoilers. The only thing I can say good about it is obviously Durin and, the dwarves, they did pretty well. I'll give them that, because they're the only ones that are not super clean, not perfect haircuts, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you look at the hobbits, for example, or should I say the Harfoots that they added in here. They got the main girl there who is obviously going to be the explorer one, right? The Bilbo Baggins, the Frodo Baggins, right? The Sam, the exploring type who wants to, why do we have to do things this way? Let's do it this way. So there's a lot of, forced female masculinity and forced female roles where they got to be the main roles for some reason. Even though none of that's like that in Tolkien's books. And I think that's where the main thing is people are just annoyed that they just spit on Tolkien's work. They don't take anything from there. And the things that they did, the characters they did take from there and things like that, they did not make them the way he made them. That's what annoys me the most. That's why I cannot support this show. And that's why I definitely didn't subscribe to bloody Prime Video to watch it. Watching it through a friend's account. There's no way I'll be giving my money to this at all. They don't deserve it. And they deserve to lose all the money they can. And I hope they just destroy the show and go to the next one. I'll jump into it just to kind of rip on it a little bit because it sucks. Is the IMDb rating 6.6 for one of the biggest series that cost $1 billion nearly. That's what they get, a 6.6. 6 on popularity. It's hilarious. And just to compare here, look at Elrond there, right? He looks like a little 20-year-old kid, perfect hairstyle, short haircut, etc. And then you look at him here, this manly, strong figure. But no, this is what they got to give us. It's this one here. And just to compare the new show as well, The House of Dragon, obviously the prequel to Game of Thrones. You can just see that 8.8 out of 10, number 1 in popularity. That's how you do it properly. They put effort into the show. They stuck to similar things. The costumes are great. The acting is good. Whereas in this is just shocking. The main character is honestly the most disliked character. So obviously no one's going to like the show. And maybe I think 10% will. And the other 10% will say, oh, you guys are just sexists or, racist. That's why you guys don't like the show. So they're going to force themselves to like it. Even though you remove all the Lord of the Rings Remove all that stuff, just make it a plain fantasy show. It is still a very average show that deserves a 6 out of 10 max through across. I give it a 1 out of 10 because I got to give at least 1 star. So that's my rating, is a 1 out of 10. They should remove this Lord of the Rings from the front of it. Just call it the Rings of Power. And the worst thing is, bit of a spoiler alert for you guys, the rings aren't even involved in the whole first season of the show, just to kind of rub it down your throat, right? So, just to compare the ratings here, 38% audience score there, 6.6. 95% audience score, 91 tomato meter. 95 tomato meter, 95 audience score. 86 audience score, 93% tomato meter. This is what paved the way for fantasy shows like House of Dragon, like Game of Thrones. And this is what they do with it. The literal biggest fantasy series in history, best books of fantasy in history as well. And they absolutely just spin on it, and they think that they can make a better show than the actual person who sold millions of copies of books, and then also spit in the face of Peter Jackson when they asked him, you know, for a little bit of thing, and he wanted to give him a bit of help, and they just pretty much said, no, we're not going to listen to you. We know better. We know what people want. We know we can just force everything down their throats, and they'll like it just because we've got a lot of money behind us. So I hope Bezos has a look at this and kind of, decides, hopefully just destroy the first season, get rid of it. It's been the biggest waste of our money. I'm hiring new directors, new producers, new cast, and start from scratch. But I guess we can only dream, right? We can only dream. But anyways, please let me know what you think about this season so far if you've watched it in the comments, and also like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next one.